welcome to the inaugural episode of Cheers to Change, Sober-ish Millennials Toast. I know that you're wondering, oh God, not another gay podcast. And I'm also thinking those things. So let me tell you a little bit about Cheers to Change and what this is about. And I have some sun-kissed here because, as you can tell, I'm sober-ish. Now, I say sober-ish because I still struggle with being completely sober. And that's going to be one of the topics. It's going to be part of the discussion about sobriety and what is sobriety? Where do you draw the line with sobriety? How much sobriety makes you actually sober? You know, it's a very nuanced conversation. Some ASMR for you baddies. So, I was talking to my little sister about a week ago, and I was explaining to her a little bit about my situation. My family knows that I had to quit drinking, and I even posted it on my social media that I am sober. It feels weird even saying that. I'm talking to a camera right now, so that feels weird already. I'm talking to a microphone, that feels weird already. But it feels weird to even call myself a sober person because of who that person appears to be in your mind. Like, I feel that people think of a sober person as someone, they just have an idea of who that person is, so much so that when I explain to my siblings and to my friends the severity of my alcohol abuse, they were all like, wow, I didn't realize or understand how bad it was. It just seemed like you just like to have fun. And the reality was is that I did like to have fun, but I also like to be unconscious. I like to be blacked out. I'd like to be unaware. I'd like to be completely numb. So let me get myself on track here. Anyways, I was talking to my sister about my situation in regards to how difficult it was for me to be in Pittsburgh by myself. I was so sad and so alone that I was abusing alcohol really heavily, and I was explaining this to my sister, and she couldn't really grasp the severity. And when I'm talking about severe, I'm saying that I was finishing a bottle of Kettle One by myself in the span of 2 days, maybe 3 days if it was during the week. And that's by myself, and I'm just drinking it with straight on the rocks, or maybe just with water to try to stretch it out. And that's just at home, not counting any of the drinks that I'm having out after work. Sometimes I'd go out and have like 3, 4, 5, 6 martinis. I put myself into massive debt from all of the alcohol that I was buying and got myself very ill. Nobody would know. Nobody would know. Nobody could know. You know, nobody that was working with would know. Nobody would know. How would they know? How would they know? You know, and really it's because I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing this for so long that I've been very good at it. And that's where I'm getting to. Right, because you're thinking to yourself, get to the point. Obviously, let's get to it. So, I thought that my drinking only got bad in 2017 when my sister passed away. I thought like maybe that's when it started to get bad. And then it really started to get bad when my mom passed away in 2021. But really when I look back, like now that it's been a while since I've been drinking, and I know what alcohol abuse looks like, I've been doing it for quite some time, probably since like 2010. like before I graduated high school. And it's it dawned on me that I didn't even I wasn't even aware of how much I was abusing alcohol and how commonplace it was in my life. It was shocking to me because I think it's so pervasive in our day-to-day lives and our very normal societal functions that you can't even see how common it is. Like, I was even going through my archived Instagram photos, just scrolling through, and I saw a picture of me with a gigantic glass of white wine, like literally on Instagram. And nobody said anything to me. Like, I was maybe 18 at the time, maybe 18, possibly 19, definitely not of drinking age. And I remember looking at this picture thinking to myself, like, that's a lot of wine. Like, this glass was full to the brim. And I literally am just like, and if you, like, my archive is just full of alcohol. It is full of alcohol. If you just saw it. Anyways, just thinking to myself as like a 30-year-old now, looking back at this picture of me being like 18, 19, who knows, and thinking like, oh my god, I thought I was so cool, and I have this freaking wine. I don't even like wine. I have this glass of wine full to the brim. Like, who doesn't love a glass of wine after a hard day of work? Like, bitch, you're just trying to black the fuck out. Like, the amount of alcohol consumption and abuse was so pervasive throughout my entire young adult life. And where I am right now is this sober ish place. It's a place where I'm not quite completely sober. I'm not drinking, that's for certain, because the cost that it has on my body, this alcohol abuse put me in such a bad place. Girl, let me fucking tell you. Let me tell you. Let me buckle up. Buckle the fuck up. So let me tell you, I literally remember as I was approaching, because this is how it happened. It was like one long weekend. It happened like right around Easter. And it was like a whole week of drinking. I think it was around my mom's birthday as well. It was exceptionally like, oh my god, I hated this time. It was such a horrible, horrible time. Y'all, when I tell you, I was just so incredibly sad. Just going back there right now is like triggering. And they ran some tests. They did blood tests. They did an MRI. Y'all, I've never had an MRI done before. I have not been to a hospital at this level before in my life. Like, the last time I've been to a hospital was to get my tonsils removed when I was 9 years old. Every other time I've been to a hospital, it was like I've been to an emergency room, but they never even stuck me with a needle. Obviously, like, I would have a fever, they'd be like, okay, you got strep throat, we're just gonna send you home. It's never been that serious, but I had to get like the contrast put in me. I had to be put in an x-ray, an MRI, everything. I was scared, y'all, and I was by myself. I was scared. And the doctor was like, you need to stop drinking and you need to rest. Whatever you're doing, however hard you're working, you need to drink water. You need to take care of yourself. Your body is telling you to stop. And I was like, this was one of the first times that I was like, I'm not invincible. I can't just do whatever I want to my body. I can't just treat myself like shit. What the fuck? So, yeah, guys, It's been really hard out here in these streets. But if it's one thing I realized is that I thought it was the alcohol. Surprise, bitch. It wasn't. Guess what? I have bipolar 2. I had to stop drinking to figure out that I have a mental disorder. Yes. You know why? Because I had to, when I left the hospital because of my pancreatitis, they said that I had to stay home, bed rest, no food for a week. I had to stay home and I couldn't eat for a week. Do you know? Do you know how hard it is to be alone with your thoughts? I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't binge eat and I couldn't drink. I had no way to abuse any substance. I had to be alone with my own thoughts for a week. Do you know how terrifying that is? It's terrifying. So that's when I was like, I think that something's wrong with me. Or maybe this is deeper than I thought. So I asked for some help. I get a appointment with a psychiatrist. I do a whole evaluation. It was literally like a 2-hour interview with 3 people. It was a whole team of people in there. And yeah, they diagnosed me with bipolar 2 depression and um, put me on medication, an antipsychotic. I was already on an antidepressant. So now I'm on 2 medications, which is so slay. Bipolar 2, you guys, is one of the worst things ever. And medication is really helpful. It's helped me stay in therapy for a consistent enough time to actually make some marked differences, and we're going to be talking about a lot of those concepts that I reviewed in therapy. But the whole point of this podcast slash video thing that we've got going on here is that I want you to know that when you think the word sober, or sober-ish, I don't want you to think about somebody that is like, I don't want you to have that negative. I don't want you to think that they have to be a crazy person. I don't want you to think that they have to be a criminal or anything like that. They can be me. They could be you. They can be anybody that has a successful career, that works really hard, that is very charming. People are struggling. It's hard out here. And if you're struggling, I just want you to hear me out. And I want you to see yourself in me. And I want to hear your story too. So I want you to send me your voice notes. I want you to send me a message. I want you to let me know what you think. I want you to let me know if you're struggling. I want you to let me know if you have tasted if there's a mocktail that you're obsessed with right now, because like I'm just now getting into the world of mocktails, and I had no idea that it's like a whole world of like, it's a whole niche of like a very specific niche, and I'm just getting into it. So if there's something that and like teas, and like there's just a whole bunch of alternatives out there, and I'm gonna be exploring those alternatives, and I want us to like go through this together. Even if you're just curious, like I'm struggling, I have a problem with numbing, and so I'm just trying to figure out a better way to do this, y'all. And I want to not be alone in this, and I want you to not be alone in this. So let's do this together, okay? Just when you need help, when you think sober-ish, just see me. I want to see you. We got this. Listen, alcohol is overrated. It's expensive. Especially if you're a snob like me. It's expensive. In this economy,